how to create a customer registration form in Excel with a little register button. Up here, you can enter the customer name, choose the type, whether it's an individual or a company, add the document number, choose the document type, enter the phone number, email, full address, registration date, and the status, whether the customer is prospecting, active, inactive, or currently being assisted. And then once you click the register customer button, automatically the customer is added to your customer database down here. And if for any reason you need to filter only one specific type of customer, you can do that too. You just use the table filters, which are those little drop-down boxes. You click the filter, choose the option you want to see, click OK, and the table will show only the selection. So it's very simple and easy to view exactly what you need. And to build our customer registration sheet, let's start with the header and make something nice and modern so the Excel looks more like a website. I'm going to click on the first row on the side to select the whole row. And on the Home tab, I'll click the Fill Color box and choose a color. But let's say you don't like any of the colors you see there. In this case, you can click More Colors and create your own custom color, either on the Custom tab or on the Standard tab, where Excel gives you more colors option. I'm going to choose a very light red tone and click OK. Now I'll select the second row as well, click the Fill Color box again, go to More Colors and choose another shade. This time something a little stronger. Done. Now what I'm going to do, on the line, on the rows between 1 and 2, I'll click, hold, and drag downward to make row 1 taller. Then on the row between 2 and 3, I'll click, hold, and drag upward to make the second row thinner. Done. That gives us this nice header in Excel that looks kind of like a website. The only thing that is missing now is the title. So you can type something like Customer Registration Sheet and press Enter. Then make the font much bigger, add a text effect if you want, and change the font color. You can even reuse the same color from the thinner header line, so everything matches nicely. That gives the header a very clean and modern look. And remember, the colors are completely optional, so you can use any color you like. I'm just showing you here one example. Now, what we do next, now it's time to make the form itself. At this point, we only built the header, so let's click 1 or 2 rows below and start building the registration form. And in this form, we are going to add the important fields we need. Let's say customer name. In the next column, we can have type. Then we can have document number. Okay, for sure, I'll explain each column a little more with details, okay, in a moment. However, let's continue here. We can also add a document type. We can have phone number, email, full address, registration, date, and finally, a status. With those fields in place, we can now fill out the form and register each customer we need. But I don't know if you noticed the problem here. Some column titles are too long and we can't read them properly. For example, customer name isn't fully visible. So what do I need to do? Between columns A and B, I'll click, hold, and drag to the right to widen the column a little. I'm also going to widen columns B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I, especially because one of them holds the full address. Now that we widened all the columns, the layout already looks much better, and to improve it even more, I'm going to select the entire header row and the row right below it. Now on the Home tab under the alignment, I'll center everything so it looks more organized. Then under borders, I'll choose all borders. Now I'm going to select the whole header row, go back to the Home, choose a different fill color, something that matches the header we already created. And for the text, I'll pick a lighter color. Let's see how that looks. I think maybe black text works nicely here, maybe with a text effect too. And for the customer name, I will enter an example like John Paul. For customer type, we have two possible choices. It can be either an individual or a company. So here we need to decide, is it the customer? Is this customer a person or a business? But here's the issue. Imagine having to type the same thing over and over again. Individual, company. It's much easier to create a drop-down list in Excel with those two options. So you can just click and choose. And to do that, I'm going to select the type cell, go up to data, and on the right side, choose data validation. Instead of allowing any value, I'll change it to list. And in the source box, I will type the options I want. Of course, we just need to type the first option and then separate it with comma. First option, comma, second option. For example, individual, comma, company. Then click OK. Now, all I have to do is click and choose the option I want. Very easy, right? And I'm going to hide in the column B just a little more. Next, in the document number, here you can type whichever document number you want to store for the customer. Why? Because the document type field is where you specify what kind of document it is. So you can basically type any type of document, because in the next column, document type, you can choose, let's say, ID, SSN, EIN, business registration number, or anything else. So in the document number field, I'm just type a example value, let's say 0.1.5.5. In your case, you'd use the real information. Now for the document type, I can also go to data validation, and create my own list with options like ID, EIN, SSN, or any other type of document that makes sense for you. That way, after entering the number, I can choose what the document refers to. Next, in the phone number, I can use a, let's say, a random number, 0, 0, 1. But here is a issue, as you can see. If I use a number that starts with 0, Excel doesn't show the zeros at the beginning of the number. So click in the number and go to Home tab, and then you can change the format text to a text. That's it. Now you can use 0 in the beginning, 0012, for example. And now we can move on to the person's email. Then we can move on to the full address. Let's say street, neighborhood, zip code, seat, state, and so on. You can use a complete address record. The registration date is very important too, because after you register a lot of customers, you'll be able to tell which ones are older records and which ones are new records. That way you don't lose your registration history, and you can also go back to a customer you registered a long time ago and review the record to make sure everything is still correct. So here in the registration date, I'm going to enter January 1st of 2027 and then press enter. Now for status, we can also have several different options. Status tells me whether this is an active customer, an inactive customer, a customer currently being assisted, a customer in prospecting, and so on. I can add as many status options as I want. So once again, I go to data validation, and create a list in Excel with the options I want, such as prospecting, active, inactive, and finally in service. However, pay attention here, because we need to separate the options with a comma sign. Now we can press enter. Now we can click here and choose one of those options. And you know what's really nice about Excel? You can add automatic colors. So let's say that in the type field, individual is blue and company is green. You can make those colors appear automatically. So let's do that. I'm going to the Home tab, Conditional Formatting, Highlight Cells Rules, equal to, and now you type inside the box the exact text you want to to color. But it's very important that the text you type here matches exactly the option you use it in your Excel list. Same spelling, same spaces, same punctuation, and everything exactly the same. So in this case, for individual, I want to choose a blue color. If you don't see any blue you want here, you can go to custom format. For the font, I'll choose a dark blue. And for the fill, I'll click more colors and choose a different blue. Click OK, OK again, and we're done. Now every time I choose individual, it turns blue automatically. And for the company, I want a bright green. So once again, conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, equal to, then I type the exactly text I want to color, company. Click the color option, choose custom format, and for more colors, I'll pick a bright green. Then for the font, I use a darker green, and that's it. Light background with a dark green as the text. Click OK, and now I can choose the customer type, and it gets a really nice automatic color. Over on the right side, I want to do something similar with status. For in service, I want yellow. So I go to conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, equal to, and type in service. Then I choose custom format. I can use a darker yellow for the font and maybe a bright yellow for the fill. Then I can click OK. If it's prospecting, I want a different color, maybe purple. So again, conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, equal to, prospecting. Then custom format. For the font, I'll use a darker purple. And for the fill, I'll choose a bright purple. Okay. And now if the status is active, I want a green, equal to, active, custom format, dark green font, bright green fill. Okay. Okay again. And finally, if it's inactive, I want something like black text with a gray fill. Let's do that. Yeah, okay, finally we're done. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to click Insert so I can create a Save button. And every time I click this button, it will save the data I entered. So I'll go to Shapes and choose a rounded rectangle. Then over here on the side, I can click, hold, and drag to draw the button on the screen. If the rectangle is too small, you can use the sizing handles to drag it in, out, left, or right, and adjust the size. You can also click, hold, and drag the rectangle to place it whatever you want on the sheet. And there's also that yellow handle that lets you make the rectangle rounded or more pointed. I'm going to leave mine somewhere in the middle. Now I'll double click the shape and type register customer. So register customer. Okay. Then I'll select the text, go to the Home tab, increase the font size quite a bit, center it, and apply a different text effect. And if the font is too large, let's say, you can make the font just a little smaller because it can be looks better, right? Now on the Shape Format tab, I can click the drop-down arrow and choose a button style that makes sense for me. I'm going to pick this green one right here, the last option showing here. But let's say you don't really like the shade of green, no problem, because you can click the button, go to Shape Format, Shape Fill, and choose another fill color. There are plenty of options. The outline controls, the border, and if you click the text fill, you can even change the font color inside the button. Nice, I like this way. It looks bright and clean, great. Now we can move on. Now, how are we going to make this work? So that when we click the button, the customer from the top form gets saved into the database table. And another thing, where is that table going to be? we can keep it right here on the same sheet. So to set up that database, the full history of all the customers we are registering, I'm going to copy everything I create up here, both the header row and the form row. Of course, yes, we are going to select everything and copy it. How do we copy something in Excel? We can use Control C. Control C. Now skip 1, 2, or 3 rows and paste it using Control V. Control V. Done. But notice that we literally duplicated what we already built. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to select this lower title row, go to the Home tab, and change it to a different color. I can make it black with a white font. Then for the row below, I can select everything and apply a softer gray tone and maybe gray font too. So it doesn't stand out too much. That way, the top section is the form and the bottom section is where everything we register will be stored. But there's one more adjustment. Let's select the whole lower table and then go to Insert and then Table. Because it's very important to use this Excel feature to build this form. And be careful, make sure you check the option that says My Table has headers. Then click OK. Now, in my opinion, comes the best part, making the button work and send the registration data into the database. How do we do that? We need to use the Developer tab in Excel. However, if you don't have the Developer tab, that's okay, because you can right-click anywhere on the ribbon, choose Customize the ribbon, and Excel will open a new window. And instead of popular commands, change it to All tabs. Then you can find Developer, you can select it, click Add, and then click OK. Done. Now the Developer tab is enabled in your Excel. And inside the tab, we are going to use the tool called Record Macro. That's what will help us automate tasks. Instead of do the manual job every time, Excel is going to do it for us, because I would need to take the customer from the form, copy it, insert a new row in the table below, and paste the data here. But instead, of course, of doing this manually every time, I'm going to do it once, let Excel record it, and then assign those actions to the button. That's how our automation is going to work here in Excel. So let's go, and I'm going to click Record Macro, and for the macro name, I'm going to use something like Save Customer. However, be careful here because you can't use spaces inside a macro name. So instead of a space, I'm going to use an underscore. Then we can click OK. Now pay close attention, because every time we do from this, everything we do from this point on is being recorded in the macro. So try not to make mistakes, because if you do, it's very annoying to fix it later. But if you make a mistake, no problem, you can stop the recording and start again. You just need to give the new macro a different name and start the process over again. So let's continue. First, I'm going to click the first customer that's already in the table below. That's why it was important to copy and paste the information earlier. Now I click the first customer row in the lower table, right-click, choose Insert, and then Table Rows above. And depending on how your Excel is set up, the new row might inherit the wrong formatting. Maybe the same formatting as the header row. So what I'm going to do to avoid any problems, I'm going to select the row below, the customer row we already had, select the whole thing, then copy it and paste it. Control C, then in the row above, Control V, okay? And then we can press delete. Why did I do that? Because just to make sure the newly added row has the same layout and formatting as the row we already had below it. Okay, so we're done. Now I can go back to the form at the top, select the whole customer row and press Control C to copy. However, just wait, be careful. Do not paste it with Control V. Instead, click the first cell in the blank row, and then on the Home tab, click the Paste drop-down and choose Paste Values. We can use the one with the little 1, 2, 3 icon. Click that and done. That's how you take the information from the form and place it in the database. Once that's done, we can go back to the form, select everything, press delete, return to the first customer name cell, and then go to developer, click stop recording. That's it, it worked, we are done. Now you need to make the button run the macro. To do that, right-click the button and choose Assign Macro. Excel opens a small window, and then you select the macro you created, click OK, and now it works. Let's test this by register a new customer. For example, David LLC. For type, I would choose company. For document number, I'll type any number, let's say 00111. For document type, I'll choose EIN. Then I'll enter a phone number, a email, address, let's say the registration date, January 2nd of 2027, and finally status. And for this one, I'm going to choose in service. Okay, now when I click register customer, 3, 2, 1, there it is. Very nice. Excel was able to take the form from the top and clear it and send it the information down here into the table. That's how we create a simple, practical, and objective form to help us register lots of customers. Now, maybe you are wondering, and what if I register a customer and later the status changed? But no problem, because you can come down here to the status cell and look how nice this is. The drop-down list we created is also available here. So if the customer status changes, you just click the status cell and choose whichever status you want. Problem solved. If something else changes, you need to update another field, that's fine too. You just click the cell, delete the old information, and then enter the correct value. And if you want to filter just one specific thing, for an example, only companies or only individual customers, you can click those little filter boxes. That way you can choose only what you want to see. Let's say I want to see only individual customers. I click OK, and done. The table filters shows me only what I want. Now, if you click the filter again and choose clear filter, everything goes back to normal and the table shows the full set of information again. And one important thing, don't forget to save your macro automation the right way so you don't lose everything you created. So to do that, let's click File. Then we can go down to Save As. Then we can click Browse. And you can save the file anywhere on your computer. Just give the file any name you want. But the most important part is right here, File Type. Click it and choose Excel Macro Enabled Workbook. Make sure you select the option that is XLSM format, because that is the most important thing to do. Then you can click Save, and that's it. Done. Now if you close the file and open it again later, everything will still be here, and your automations will already be saved inside the Excel file. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and every day has a new video, so I see you in the next one.